Welcome back to the Women in Sports series. My name is Brianna DeBose. I'm your host. Nice to meet you all. Nice to bring you back into the room. Today, I have Shannon Nichele. She is a multi-hyphenate, and we'll get into what that all means, but management consultant, CEO for Swag Sports, certified WNBA and FIBA agent, documentary, there's just so much that you do. And I can't wait to talk about it all. Thank you so much for coming on with us and just sharing your story for the Women in Sports series, Shannon.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here. As you can tell, my energy's right.
Yes. I'm
looking forward to it.
Yeah. we taking a break from our job. It's like, let's just have this conversation today. But let's get into it. So 2021 is here. Thank God. Spring is upon us. The new year's here. What's something that you're particularly excited about in 2021? It can be personal or professional that you're really looking forward to.
Okay. So, in a nutshell, for me, this year is all about, self-mastery on a personal side. Every now and then when I enter new seasons, new chapters in my life, I really try to focus on reflecting and just really pushing myself to grow and get better in things that I'm not the best at. And that could just be something as easy as waking up at 5:30 every morning, or making sure I work out 3 times a week or something like that. But also understanding who I am and what my purpose is. And so I'm a true believer in Christ, and something that I'm focused on personally and professionally is making sure that that's reflected in everything I do. Outside of that, man, if y'all haven't been following, we got this documentary coming out called Can't Retire. It's in the works right now. My homegirl, Melanie Page, is directing it, leading the charge, and my boy Ryan is the director of photography. And the three of us are co-producing the documentary together, and we got a great team too that helps us out. But man, I can't wait for us to get back to filming. We took a little break right now, and we're gonna get back started probably in May, June, starting with interviews and stuff. But we accomplished a lot last summer when we first started, and it's been a journey. So that's probably the thing I'm most excited about doing, is getting back in the interviewing room with Melanie and Ryan, and really knocking those conversations out and telling the stories of women from the DMV, talking about DMV basketball culture, and of course, Swag Sports. That's it. Swag Sports. I'm all about just expanding my enterprise. I'm trying to hire more interns and more staff this year, give more people an opportunity to grow with me and to learn from me, because wherever you are in your journey, I think you still have the ability to teach someone else and to help someone else that's trying to break through. So that's keep it short. That's it right there. Them 3 things.
Man, to the point though, if y'all don't know, I've probably said it 1,000 times. I'm from the DMV, Prince George's County. So for me to interview you, it's an honor, because you're doing so many cool things, and I love to see it. And for me, when I watched KD's documentary, Something in the Water, whatever it was called, I was like, where are all the women in the documentary? Where are we at? I was so upset. I was like, yes, the DMV is amazing. Absolutely. And we have some of the best talent here. And that's not even just me being biased. It's nationally ranked teams and individuals and, on the ESPN list or whatever you are. But I'm like, KD, you have no women on this thing. You have 0 female hoopers in the documentary. So then I'm seeing this. First it was subtle, because I remember seeing Can't Retire doc. I was like, who just
about it?
How did you find out? Who just followed me? I think it might have been on Twitter or something. I was like, what's up with this? Who is this? What are they doing? And then I just started seeing things circulate, because it was I'm seeing women that I obviously played against in the past. I'm seeing just all the goodness of the DMV. I'm seeing Coach Rich on there. I was like, who is this? What are they doing? And then y'all dropped the trailer, and it was everything. Trailer was everything. I was like, man, this is the energy that I need. I was like, you know what? I think I mentioned the trailer on Twitter. I was like, yo, KD, you need to be backing this. You and 35 Ventures, whatever his like funding company is, y'all need to be backing this documentary like you did with Something in the Water, because one, it matters, and two, like it will kind of give you a nice little segue between both and be advocating for women's basketball, because the trailer went crazy. I loved it. And I get that's like a perfect segue because, like, you know, the significance of the DMV and its rich hoops history. You know, tell us more about like your involvement with Can't Retire, Doc. Like, how did that even come about? Obviously, I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to see it when it comes
I
out.
love it.
But how did it kind of come about, and you know what's to come? I know you have more interviews to do. Have there been more funding talks? Like, what is it? Because that thing went viral, basically.
Y'all want the tea. So look, so
yeah.
I'm laughing about the your reaction to In the Water, because that's the same thing that how we reacted
upset.
to it.
I was pissed.
Like, granted, it was a great body of work, and we love to watch, you know, the fellas rep our city. But
for sure.
I mean, we saw Marissa Coleman in the documentary, but we only saw her for like
2 seconds.
A split second.
I'm happy that you mentioned her, because I forgot. I was like, I know it was a WNBA player, but I forgot like who was it? Like,
she spoke, but just for a second.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was pretty quick. Honestly, we all were kind of thinking the same thing, but Melanie's the one who took action. Being that she's in the film industry, a former hooper. It mixes for her, and it just was an alignment. She actually posted on Facebook. I didn't even see the Facebook post. She posted on Facebook, and she wanted to do a documentary to highlight the women in the DMV and what goes on in our world and our culture, because it is slightly different, the experiences we go through. And
for sure,
that's how she got the team. You saw the post on Facebook. People started commenting, I'm in, I got you what you need. And because I live in a bubble, I didn't see her Facebook post, but she reached out to me maybe a week after that. And we went to school together, but she reached out to me and was just like, hey, I need your help with something. And once she told me what she was trying to do, I mean, I was amped. I said, oh, you know, I'm down for this. This is what I like. I like
this is it.
And advocate for women, girls in sports. I've always been that person saying we don't get enough attention. We don't get the platform.
For sure.
I started to feel that when I was playing. I felt that in high school. I started to feel that, just noticing, just from playing on different AAU teams or even in school, like just noticing the different attention that the guys team would get versus the girl team. And we would go undefeated in high school. We would go undefeated sometimes, and the guys would be losing, but they game packed.
Right.
And we blown out. Nobody understands sometimes. So I started to feel that way pretty early on. So when she told me that, it was a no-brainer. And that's the homie. I was like, man, I know this is going to be a great project. I've seen some of her work before, and I was ready to throw down. And it turned into something so beautiful. And to answer your question, we are currently looking for funding. We're in conversations right now. So
good. Y'all hear that?
It all works
whoever sees that, whoever's listening to this, y'all hear that? We looking for funding. Let's get to it.
I'm praying it all works out. And if everything works out on paper, and we come to an agreement with that, we'll have a budget to keep doing what we're doing and take it to the next level. And obviously our next goal is distribution. So we're still looking for that as well. And we want to get it on the platform. We want to tell the story. It's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that doesn't get talked about because women don't really get that eye. Nobody's really paying attention too much to their story, but their story is what makes them great. And so that's what we want to do with that. So that's dope.
I love it, clearly. But I'm just so excited for you all because, like you said, the girls' games in high school, you can be number one in the country, and it's like winning all the games, and then the guys are like the gym is packed out for them, and they're losing, and it's like make it make sense. It doesn't make sense, and a lot of it comes down to coverage and marketing and just pushing the game, right? Because people have this
interest, like you just gotta watch.
That's what I'm saying.
people tend to believe the stigma that comes with women playing basketball instead of just watching a game. And sometimes that's all it takes is just watch a WNBA game, watch the March Madness tournament, dog. Like just go watch a solid AAU game. Like all you gotta do is watch. But a lot of times people just go with either what's popular and trending or to just listen to the stigma instead of just making a decision for themselves.
Yeah, that's real. But this past year alone, we've seen such a jump in visibility for the WNBA, for the NWSL. I think that's National Soccer for Women.
Yep.
And we've seen the jump and people are like, how are these numbers happening? I'm like, well, when you put in for marketing and you push games and you get people on board and allies on board, good things happen. It's like the interest
and
is
allies
there.
With big platforms.
Yeah, I'm like, the interest is there, but the visibility is not always there. So there's that. And so I applaud you and Melanie for the work that you all are doing on this project, and I can't wait to see it. Now I want to kind of segue into your career because you are listed as a multi-hyphenate. And when I saw that, I was like, what in the world? I had to Google. I was like, what is this woman talking about? What is all this? And so, but your career, right? Like you're doing so many different things. And so I kind of want to just understand how you got to where you are and like, how do you balance it all? Like, you're doing swag sports, you're a management consultant, you're still tied to corporate. You like, yo, y'all paying, so I'm playing. And then you're doing stuff with this documentary, you're a certified agent. Like, how do you balance it all? And where do you see it going? Like, where do you want to segue? What do you want to ultimately do?
So I guess it all comes down to the multi-hyphenate aspect of it, right? Because I really just started branding myself as that last year because I kept getting asked, like, what do you do? What do you, and most people, they can just pick something. They can just be like, well, I'm an agent or I'm an influencer. I work in media. And my hands are in so many different things with sports. It just, it made my intro a lot shorter and to the point. And it's the definition, I have various titles, CEO of this, agent, yes, but owner of this, founder of that. And so,
oh my gosh,
for me,
I'm so sorry. Hoops and Heels. I'm plugging that. I'm plugging all the businesses. Hoops and Heels.
Oh,
yes, I seen that. Hoops and Heels is dope. It's a nonprofit, correct?
Yes, and it's Hoops and High Heels. Hoops and High Heels.
Hoops and High Heels. I apologize.
Yeah. So so I'll just try to quickly take you through it and then we'll touch on all of them. So I started out always working in the community. My ties are very strong. I got a big heart for Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Clubs. That's where I grew up playing. That's my area. My area. And after I was too old to play, I would always still be around the gym. One, I had a little sister. I still have one. I have a little sister who she used to play too. So I would still be around. My dad coaches. And so I was always at Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Club. And as I got older, I started to help with the younger kids. I started to ref Pee Wee, volunteering for the commissioner out there to ref Pee Wee while I was in high school. And then I got a taste of coaching, helping with practices and stuff with the younger kids. But I played basketball and soccer at Oxon Hill Boys and Girls Club. And so that's how I started at like 3, 5, that age range. And I just kept going. And the community thing, it just stuck with me. I feel like it's always been my purpose to help the youth. And that's like my vessel. Sports is my vessel, but the goal is always to make an impact on the youth and to just be there for them. And so as I was coming up through college, matriculating, I got to my senior year. And I actually got the name Hoops and High Heels from some of my teammates on A&T Legacy. That's the name of our travel team. Yeah. And I was heavily active on campus without getting too much into it, but I was active in different areas on campus. And so they would always see me either, walking across campus. And I was one of those people who always had on like sweats and a t-shirt, but then you'll see me break out a suit or break out some heels and a dress.
Yo,
right?
Switch up.
I had like a presentation or something, or, at one point I was a part of like the Royal Court for this organization, the School of Business. And long story short, they just would always see me either in some hooping clothes or some chill clothes, or they would see me dressed up. And so they was like, that should be your thing, like hoops and high heels. And that's how we came up with the name for the nonprofit. And so after school, I didn't come straight back home. I ended up going to Kansas for a little bit, and that just wasn't my scene. So I came back home. And as soon as I came back home, I was like, I'm about to start this nonprofit. Looked up all the information I started. I was like, this is what it's going to be called. It's going to focus on girls 8 through 13. 13 to 18. And we're just going to focus on mentorship, scholarship, academics, and service. And those are the things I do already. And so all I wanted to do was pay it forward. And I was already coaching at the time. I was coaching high school soccer, helping my dad out. So it just made sense. It aligned for me. And so that was the first thing that I accomplished myself in sports. And the whole reason I started, I took the consulting route was because I wasn't getting the positions when I was applying for jobs in the sports industry. And then also when it comes to funding, I got a degree in accounting. And so I had an opportunity to go to the Big Four. And that's what I did.
I'm not mad at you.
Yeah. I had some internships over the summers, of course, but I knew I didn't want to be in a specific type of accounting, and that's what was being offered to me. So I went into the consulting route.
Gotcha.
And then I came back home and got into financial management, consulting, and all that. With corporate, I'm still with the Big Four now, and so that was the journey there. And then that was 2016 when I founded Hoops and High Heels. So we're celebrating our 5 years of service this year.
Hey, congrats!
Thank you. And in 2017, like October 2017, I saw this ad and I saw different media stuff come out about this new league. The ABA was bringing back the women's side. And I had done some research and I noticed that the ABA has been around for a long time. It kind of kickstarted the NBA. Some of the NBA teams came from the ABA. And but they kept trying to do a women's side and it just kept falling through. It just wasn't sticking. Like it would last for like a year or two and then they would disintegrate or whatever. And so they brought it back with a new commissioner, Marsha Blount, and it was only 6 teams that first season. And I said, I want to get a team. So I looked into how to get a team and stuff like that. I didn't play that first season. I just wanted to get the market for PG County because that's what I represent all day. And some guy had already got a team called DC Cyclones. And I was like, well, I'm not from DC, I'm from Maryland, but it's all the DMV, but it's something about, having to represent PG County. So I was like, well, we're going to get this PG County market. And so it was a lot of logistics into that. But eventually I got the team locked in 2017. We had our first season in 2018 and they recognized me as the youngest team. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you didn't plug the team.
Jewels, the Maryland Jewels, Jewels, ABA represented PG
friends
County.
That played on that.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah,
and I call it the Jewels because, that's what we are. We're rare women, but we have a certain poise about us, but we still know how to go and get it on the court. So that's where it came from. A lot of this stuff is just a reflection of me. And so that's the type of people I want to bring into the fold. And it's been dope, but that's when I got recognized as the youngest team owner in ABA, WABA history. I was 22 at the time. So that was cool. And it's been a grind. Being a team owner is a lot of work. It's been a grind. But I knew I wanted to work in sports management and I wanted to work with the players directly. And so that's when I started to pursue my agent license. I first got certified by the state that year. And then in 2019 is when I applied and got certified for my WNBA license. And then COVID hit. So like my first, I was planning for 2020 to be like my first big recruiting season, but everything happens for a reason. And I ended up getting my FIBA license last summer of 2020. And so it's all been happening like that. But when I started the team, when I started the Maryland Jewels, I simultaneously was working on my sports management platform. I just hadn't had a name for it yet. So it was always just under Shannon Nichele. And last year during quarantine, I decided at the end of the year to switch it over to Swag Sports LLC. So I'm in the middle of actually a nice little rebrand right now. And Swag Sports is pretty much just the overarching umbrella for all the enterprises I just named. So Swag Sports is the key. Everything's going to run through Swag Sports. And I'm in the middle of, you know how it is, organizational leadership, reorging and hiring people. That's what I got going on right now. And ultimately, that's the goal. Swag Sports has 3 divisions. It's going to be the agency, Swag Sports Events, and then Swag Sports Clothing. And our community partners is going to be the Maryland Jewels and Hoops and High Heels, because they're both nonprofit organizations. Because I have no intention to profit personally from those platforms. I just wanted to create them for the young girls and for the women. And both is intended to give them a platform to shine, but also to be an inspiration to the other girls coming up, people who look up to them, who just need to know that basketball is a great way to learn, to build character, but also to network, to meet people. It's a way to push yourself, and you learn a lot about yourself playing on teams and playing sports. So that's just my platform. That's the vessel, basically. It all comes back to impacting the youth. That's my ultimate goal, is servant leadership. That's the ultimate goal, but I want to do it through this enterprise. And so one day we're going to be full time. We're leaving corporate at some point, but not right now. But when we get to that place financially, that's the goal ultimately. And it's a lot more coming, but I got to keep that close to the vest until it gets closer.
I got you. I feel that 100%.
The blueprint is written out.
It's like you got the plan up here and a few people close to but I feel you on that. And sometimes the job has to fund the dream for a bit, and that's okay, because you gotta eat, you gotta be surviving and working on your own. But when you can and when you can pivot to finally making the dream your money maker, it's gonna be dope because you've already kind of put things in place. So kudos to you. Now, the last question I have for you is, this is Women's History Month. What's something that you've experienced this month that has made you feel seen and celebrated and affirmed as a Black woman in sports? It can be in sports, or it can be just regularly. So whatever, personally, professionally, you felt affirmed, yes, acknowledge me this month.
I think for me, if I had to say one thing, I would say it'd probably be the different rooms that I've been able to step into this month. Whether it's on Clubhouse or...
I was going to say, you on Clubhouse, girl. I see you.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely see. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's been doing wonders. That was a great way to take advantage of quarantine. But this month has been dope, specifically because I've been able to build on some of those relationships that I had made, either a little bit on Twitter or social media or in person. And Clubhouse has allowed us to continue those conversations in our free time. And it was great. This club I'm a part of, Black Sports Agents and Marketers, we hosted a room, and it was great because the founder, Anthony, it's 5 of us or 6 of us that co-hosted with him. And he just let the women take it. And that was cool. It's 2 of us, me and this young lady named Chris, the Black techie.
I've been seeing her everywhere.
He let us take that on. And I was like, well, instead of just doing a networking type of thing, I wanted it to be called, building towards the future. Black women in sports, building towards the future, because I think it's important. We had those conversations, and that was amazing. It wasn't so much about me getting to talk a lot, because I actually did more listening in that conversation, but it was just about being able to bring so many great women together. We had Bria Janelle in there, Christina, love her, and a girl Ari, and a lot of other great women who don't necessarily get that platform. And so I'm always that type of person. The women who don't usually get to speak out, they had an opportunity to speak that day, and I enjoyed that. So I think that was my confirmation that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and continuing to live in my purpose. And again, advocate for these women, whether they're on the business side or whether they're on the court. That's my thing. And I just felt ultimately inspired.
I love it. I love it. I was in that room. I remember that. I was in it briefly. I'd be like popping in and out of stuff. And I was like, oh,
you're sneaky.
Look, man, Clubhouse is dope. Sometimes you got to comb through a bunch of like just random stuff that be on there.
Find the right room.
To find something like quality and like, okay, this is like it. But I remember that room and it was dope. And looking forward to more rooms like it. I have some quick fire questions for you. And basically you have to answer with one word or less or one sentence or less.
One word or less. So nothing.
One word or less or one sentence or less.
Okay, got you.
Cool. Okay. Where's your favorite place to go in the DMV?
The gym.
Just any gym.
That's crazy, right? I love going out to eat and I love going to the gym.
What is
that could be the court,
Fair, very fair. What where's your favorite place to eat in the DMV? I'm intrigued. Let me see what you're working with.
My favorite place to eat. Lately, I've been eating at Milk and Honey a lot.
Milk and Honey is so good.
I love me some seafood too.
Yeah,
I'm a seafood person as well, but I'll say Milk and Honey because I've been eating there a lot.
Really good. Their stuff is so good. Where's the first place you're going when COVID is over? Like no masks, we can just be out there in the streets.
Probably gonna hit up LA.
Quality trip. LA.
Yeah.
And lastly, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten?
I get so many great gems. I say the best one that stuck with me the longest was a Bible verse one of my coaches gave me when I was in high school. I was real nervous before a game. You know how it is. And they needed me and he locked me in about being, not having a spirit of fear. So 2 Timothy 1:7, that was the best advice because I carry that with me every day. I get a lot of gems, but that one is it pushes me through all the adversity.
Yeah, I love that. And that is what we got today. Thank you, Shannon, so much for joining us on the Women in Sports series.
Thank you.
Sports Network. I'm your host, Brianna DeBose, and this was amazing. Thank you for taking the time out to be with us.
Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Eat. Follow Shannon Sports.
Yay. Thanks.